We are out in the heart of Wellington today on Cuba Street, and we're talking about revolution. We're talking about how 1% of the world have as much accumulated wealth and property as 3.5 billion. Is this fair, and why are we complicit? Why do we stand for this, or should we be shouting for revolution?
A little bit content with just being comfortable in their own living rooms, watching TV and doing their own. It's like a false sense of freedom, I suppose.
The mechanisms we have available to complain don't work.
I guess they don't know the answer how to shift the resources from the rich to the poor.
Even back in the tribal societies, there was always someone that had the power, and most of us were submissive to that because it was easier to get by. It was easier, most people are more centered on their own lives and don't really want to have to deal with any issues like that.
We're animals of habit, just born human. It's human nature, I think, to just accept. Just accept. Yeah.
So such an overwhelming problem, and I know what you're saying to me. I don't know how we can write it. It's so difficult. But I try.
It's not really our choice, it's just kind of those people taking power for themselves and then leaving the rest of the world to rot, as I see it.
It's not fair. It's just globalization. People on top. People who have the money get what they want because we're owned by money.
Because we don't know anything else, we've been brainwashed to think this one way.
I think people don't really know. So if everyone knew, maybe people would, but it takes a while for people to actually follow someone.
I'm afraid I don't have an answer for you.
Don't know.
I'm sorry.
I don't know, man, I gotta go to work.
I'm not sure.
What can we do?
No idea. Don't know. Don't really understand the question. Right. Yeah. I don't know. Can't help you.
Because we're mad. I know.
I don't know, what can we do? Because we don't really care. I don't know.
I think lots of people are very indifferent to other people and have absolutely no idea as to how power runs in society.
I didn't know really deep question.
Can't really answer that question.
We're not smart enough.
Could I say ignorance?
Yeah, people just accept it the way it is. I'm not entirely sure though. But yeah.
I don't know.
We're uneducated?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, we really shouldn't tolerate it, but it's just how it's been going on for like all these recent years, and yeah, we've just kind of learned to live with it.
Well, I won't join the money. You can't be rich without having more. It's kind of like an ideal lifestyle.
Communism.
Yeah. I don't know, I want to be rich.
Oh, I couldn't comment on one of those 1%.
Why do most? Because we're scared to take a stand. We are used to having a society where your role is there for you. Now it takes a lot of effort and a lot of energy to get out of this role. But the fact is people are scared. That's why we elect crap politicians. That's why girls go with abusive partners. Because we're scared of not having the security. We're so used to being poor, having no money, being destitute. The fact is, we're scared to remove these people who we see are controlling our wealth. If we remove those, we've got to handle it ourselves. We're scared. People are frightened little creatures which operate on herd mentality. We need to change this.
The answer is we shouldn't. I mean, the government should be afraid of the people. We are the 99%. It's got to be fair.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know why we tolerate it. It shouldn't be tolerated. Something needs to change. It'd be nice that the wealthy should realise,
You can't take it when you die, so you might as well do something positive with it.
It's kind of the way it's always been, you know, and they just built this world for themselves. So, I don't know, but I don't tolerate it.
I wouldn't really know why we tolerate it. I personally don't tolerate it. But yeah, I think we just need to get a majority.
I don't think we tolerate it. It's just we cannot do anything else. So we are just thinking in silence how to solve it.
It's not that we tolerate these things, it's that we are caught in a system which keeps us from being active in terms of making a difference. Everybody works full-time jobs, everybody's tired, people don't have spare time to make that change happen. But if you ask people on a social level, hey, do you agree with this? Of course they don't. Of course they don't. So there's a system at play which is hurting everyone.
I'm not sure that we are complicit, I think we've been forced to be.
I think we live within a structure where it's very difficult to not be complicit in that.
I don't think society knows how to live any other way.
Really have anything they can do about it. I mean, people always say we have a voice in what we want, we have a say, but I don't think so.
And that's all, I don't know, as far as I get it, it's always kind of been the case though, right? Like that's kind of the status quo.
I think people are scared to speak up and they don't think for themselves.
They have, how have they come about this 1%? Was this through inheritance, meaning they did not actually do the physical work themselves, which of course is totally unjustified, but it's, others would say it is justified by right of sense of entitlement.
Do you want an honest answer? Because revolution is too difficult when it means that most people who would go against the 1% would die. That's it.
I'm not even sure how that will happen, so I don't know. I can't think that fast.
Revolution. Should we take the power back?
Yeah, I guess at one level, yeah, definitely.
Can that happen?
Even no.
Yeah.
I believe that peaceful revolutions can't exist because of the way the world and the government work right now.
It really depends what type of revolution, you know. Someone always gets the shit end of the stick.
So regardless of any revolution, there's probably still going to be like the oppressive and the oppressed in terms of like wealth management and stuff.
I think all of us have great ideas, but at the end of the day there's always going to be someone who lets greed take over and ruin the day for everyone else.
Revolution needs to come, and it needs to come soon. Sitting there protesting. Protesters, you're standing there with a sign being like, talk, talk, talk. Cops come along, move along, right. Oh yes officer, yes officer. No, I'm an activist. We need violent, preferably not violent, but we need a revolution. We need to kick up the ass of our incumbent government to change things for the better, because they're not going to do it by themselves. Because again, they're comfortable.
The French kick off when they want to. The Irish kick off when they want to. Why don't we?
I think it's a great idea. I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Are the people with all the wealth going to share it? I don't think so.
I'd love it. I think it needs to happen, and I hope that one day it will happen, hopefully sooner rather than later, before, you know, lots of people die because they don't have any money and they can't survive, because I just don't think that's fair.
I'm totally down on that. I'm a social worker, or social worker student, better not push it. Like, I don't think there's much, well, I don't think that there's much we can do on a huge level, but we can definitely do things on a smaller level.
We need to share. How we go about it is really difficult. Not impossible, but it's difficult.
I think, you know, if we got back to the basics in life, I mean, there's a lot we can do without, then we all have the opportunity to share that. I think our young people, if they're set more in their moral status around some of the issues you're talking about sharing wealth, then that might just happen. But I think, you know, even a lot of education and personal now teaches you how to get on in the world, get a good job and look after yourself as best you can.
The trickle-down economic theory which is passed to us is so much more
it's so much more about having an aspirational society. You have to aspire to be like the people who are rich, but there are so few of them. When the things that really make us happy are just being, healthy, educated, in a warm home with food on the table.
Yeah.
The very basics and the time that we spend with our friends and family are the things that make us truly happy.
I think it's a question, we can start with those who've got the 1% that's got the 90% or whatever need to pay their way. It's all part of being, in a civil society, working together and living together.
These days I think more of a peaceful revolution, yeah. But that's already happening. I mean, there's a lot of people who are pretty onto it, and I just think we always talk about this stuff, Some people talk about money over their coffees, and you sort of talk about the world and the state it's in.
What's more interesting at the moment is that people think that the system's okay. Like historically, poor people would be like, oh, the rich have got money and poor people haven't got any money and it's just not fair. We do something about it, but they've got lots of men with spears or they've got this, that and the other. Nowadays they go like, oh no, I'm poor because I'm worthless. So I think that's a new idea, and that's an idea that should really be challenged.
Because they're seen as the elite and they're known to have the capability of that, and yet the fact that they're still owning it, even though it's the belief that they've got the power to have it, which stops us from doing anything.
Right.
Yeah, and keeping it.
I want to know your thoughts
Well,
on
I feel like it's a huge problem we can't tackle ourselves.
How do I want to go about it?
Yeah, you're asking everyone, but I want to know your thoughts.
I'm thinking a mass distribution of wealth, egalitarian socialist society based on an anarchist model. How I want to go about changing the world? I think that, firstly comes down to people not being so ignorant, which is, they own all the channels. The main one is mainstream media, right? That controls what we think and what we feel, our value system.
What we should be shown, right?
I think mainly we just need to change our values, how we relate to people. We need to broaden the circle of compassion and empathy to not just your family and friends, but to the broader society.
But bad things rise in anarchy. Anarchy is not necessarily peace.
It's decentralized power.
Yeah.
Wherever there's centralized power, there's some dickhead who tells people what they should be doing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what we've been indoctrinated to believe. It's the propaganda of our time that kind of these individual lives have more value than a collective life.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, we share, but we only really share with our really close family and friends, or occasionally give to charity. But I mean, I completely agree with you. If you could spread out the circle of who you share with, or how you pull resources, or even how you relate to the entire world, then we could have a world full of sharing.
Yeah, hell yeah, we could.
To understand and relate to each other.
Do you think it's realistic to change everyone's values?
Yeah, I do. I think they're already changed. I think they're already aligned. I think they're already aligned right now. Look at this street. This is a mecca of our values. We value fucking consumerism. We value shallow ideals, don't we? So I think that they're already whipped into shape. Can we change them? Yeah, I fucking think we can.
I guess so.
What's this being used for? Yeah, perfect. We're just doing a survey on Cuba Street about revolution and what people's thoughts are. Can we change the world?